Rise and fight.
Oh, looks like I'm on Ghost. Yeah, no camera. All right, so hello everyone. Welcome to BSL 15. We just saw the Asian Championships, which ended with a Zanhoon win. Mihu, the previous BSL champion, eliminated. Somewhat to a surprise, I would say, big surprise. But now we're moving on to the South American Championship. We'll see which four will advance into the next stage of the tournament. And you can see the matchups here. It's a little wonky zero. Let's see. There we go. We have Gosu Dark, TerrOr, and Yugox. So 3 Protoss and 1 Terran. And we're gonna actually start off with TerrOr versus Yugox. And TerrOr, definitely the favorite to win this group. But of course, 3 players will advance to the next round. So we'll see which of these 3 are able to do so. Here we see some statistics. BSL 12 champion, TerrOr of course, and Yugox, who's mostly played in Gosu League, but you can see he actually made it to Pro League once. Very strong player, underrated I would say. But yeah, definitely a favorite for TerrOr here. And it's good to see him back after he didn't participate in last BSL. He took somewhat of a break, but a very strong contender when he is at the top of his at top shape. And let's see how he does. I think the first map is going to be Overwatch. 2 map, and looks like we're ready to start. Okay, in the top left spawn we have the blue Protoss Yugox. And in the bottom right we have TerrOr, the color red. Oh, let's see. The Overwatch, this, when it came out, it was actually a map that's pretty good for Protoss, I would say, in this matchup. Carriers are very strong, very easy to abuse the terrain here. And looks like we have Yugox moving out. This looks like a gas steal probe. Actually, it's way too early. There's gonna be a proxy gate. Let's see where he decides to make that. I don't think it's a gas steal because it's just too fast. You usually make the pylon first. Well, this probe is coming in directly to harass the SCV. Is TerrOr actually going to make the refinery before the barracks? This is something you never see. It's just not worth it to delay your barracks like this. Let's see if he goes for the gas steal now. He has to go. TerrOr can cut in SCV here to get it done. And yep, there it is. So a gas steal just sent out earlier. And behind this Yugox, it's just going into gate. No gas quite yet. Maybe try to get a manor pylon here. The probe is pretty low on health already. Has to be careful. And TerrOr going out for a quick scout. Double barracks. Now this is a good response if Yugox were going for a proxy gate. It'd be very easy to shut that down and kill the gas while dealing with the Zealot. But because this is just a gate in his main and he's actually taking up behind this could backfire for TerrOr. Yugox, of course, has to be careful. He's going to be dealing with a lot more Marines here. TerrOr getting the scout. He sees 3 on gas. And the Cybergonna escort just started. I wonder if this is going to be core Zealot. If I were TerrOr, I would maybe even cancel the second barracks. But no, it looks like he's gonna let that complete. As Yugox, I would be a little bit suspicious about why he didn't cancel. for whatever reason, Yugox is actually way down on workers. I know he sent out that really early scout, but he must have been cutting probes to get this tech up this fast. Okay, TerrOr still producing Marines. We're up to 4. That's very important for Yugox not to lose this probe. He needs to scout if TerrOr is going to commit with some kind of SCV pull, which here it comes. One Zealot out. Dragoon should be in production. I'm about to complete. Second Dragoon out. This range is quite late. SCV is key in giving TerrOr vision. Now we see the probe going back around. It missed the SCV pull, but it will see. Oh, these rally Marines, are they going to be able to kill that probe? Looks like they were. So Yugox is somewhat in the dark here. He's not going to know the attack is coming until he sees his SCVs. There he sees it finally. 4 Marines can't do what the Zealots. Actually 5 Marines. And the Zealot's a real damage dealer here. You see he's able to get one of the Marines, damage another badly. 2 Dragoons already. But this is a lot of SCVs. Where are the Marines? They need to support these SCVs. Yugox not able to control ramp. There's still 4 Marines, but almost all the SCVs are actually dead here. Nice probe control here from Yugox. He's able to actually shut this down. Or is he? The 1 Dragoon goes down. This one's pretty low. The SCV is super low on health. That's the last SCV here. He's not going to be able to complete this bunker. The one thing in TerrOr's favor is these Dragoons won't have range for a while. Oh, that one gets badly damaged. And we're only down to 7 probes here. Of course, TerrOr is very committed here. He's very all in. Even if Yugox gets down to something like 5 probes, this is a manageable precision. But he can't lose Dragoons like this. He's actually making a Zealot, which is not what you want to see. You need the ranged Dragoons. 1 ranged Dragoons can take out endless number of Marines. This Zealot is not going to be that helpful. It will defend the 2 Marines, but if more arrive and if this bunker gets complete, then I gotta think Yugox is in big trouble here. He needs to use the range of the Dragoons. Okay, 4 Marines can't take it out, even with the probes. If a Dragoon isn't about to pop, I'm afraid this game is actually over. We're getting pretty close, and it will have range. Looks like TerrOr realizes this. He's just gonna try to get as many probes as he can. He gets another probe. That's actually huge. Every probe now counts immensely. Looks like the Marines get stuck. He might be able to get 1 more probe. It's down 15 to 4 workers, but because he has such a huge tech advantage, I think if this were a number, like if he hadn't lost those 2 probes, I think Yugox would actually be okay here. But he's so weak economically now, he can't actually afford to produce Dragoons and probes at the same time. Now he has to cut. It's really going to limit his options here. Okay, Dragoon abusing its range. Really feel like Yugox has to be more aggressive. Get as many shots on as possible before they get in the bunker. They're going into 2 seconds and to know he's extremely ahead economically. Yugox's options here are basically just make more probes and make Dragoons and eventually try to expand. He's so far behind economically, like stuff like going for Nexus right away, just cutting Dragoons is way too risky. He doesn't know what TerrOr is actually doing. This bunker is actually going to get ranged. There's only 1 SCV here to repair. He's going to bring a couple more. Very important for him, for TerrOr not to let Yugox see that there is no command center here. And the probe count is slowly building up, but we're still not at 1 per patch with enough for gas, so I like this Marine Scout from TerrOr. We're actually going to Citadel, and I think this is a good call. Potentially. When you're behind like this, you have to take some kind of risk, whether that's go for an all-in, but you can't really go for an all-in on Dragoons with such few probes. Maybe take a risky expansion. Oh, this bunker actually almost went down there with the over-repair from the SCVs. The problem is DT is not ideal against 2-fact Vulture. And there's the tank, gonna ward off a couple Dragoons. Even with 3, it's just not enough. 4, maybe if you can somehow snipe this tank. Oh, he's gonna go for it, but good pullback, immediate reaction there from TerrOr. And defensive mines, I actually like this quite a bit from TerrOr. No reason to take any risk. Even getting a turret. Yeah, so now basically there's no way for Yugox to win from this position. The DTs will at least keep TerrOr at bay, potentially. Vultures can't just run around with speed, but it would be risky for him to do so. He can at least expand, but TerrOr can expand as well here. The worker deficit isn't as large as it was earlier. We're only down 6. OCT in production. That tank actually went way far forward. It's gotta be careful. There's a Vulture move out, and it's a lot of Vultures. All these Dragoons now are way out of position. 1 DT back at home. Even if it holds the bridge, it's not even holding the bridge. He's gotta retreat. And well, this is basically over. Yugox just going for the attack, and there's the game. Quick victory there for TerrOr. A bit unfortunate for Yugox. I thought he actually did a good job with the pro pull. He didn't let the bunker finish, but he didn't micro those Dragoons well enough versus the Marines. Of course, they have the same range, but you can still micro the Dragoons. And that means TerrOr is up 1-0 very quickly. I thought his build and plan were okay. He just needed to scout a little bit faster and react a little bit better. There you go. Well, TerrOr not one to not. TerrOr basically has all the builds available to him, to not surprising to him to see him go for the 2 racks bunker rush. But Yugox definitely, with the gas giving him that information, he should have suspected something. Why is this guy making so many Marines if I'm not cheesing? Oh, looks like we got confused there on the map. It's going to be nil Silphic from Yugox and TerrOr, and looks like we're ready. Alright, in Total Clock spawn, we have Blue Protoss Yugox. And in the bottom right, we have TerrOr as a red Terran. Interesting map for this matchup. As Protoss, you can take advantage of the fact that there's no ramp in the early game with maybe like 1 Dragoon, 1 Zealot push, but it's kind of awkward to expand on this map. The middle green base you never want to take as Protoss. Then you have access to a mineral only, which is not the easiest base to pylon wall. And then 3 o'clock is not going to be the 4th base he's going to take. He's going to want to take it like 11 o'clock. So it's a very awkward expansion pattern for Protoss sometimes on this map. Or Terran, on the other hand, they have 4 easy bases to take. The mineral only and the close high ground or fake high ground base. But we'll see. Rush distances on this map are not terribly long. So we can see some kind of early timing from Terran here. No early scout here from Yugox, just playing a little bit more standard. Looks like he's gonna go for the gas. And this was a 10-10 from TerrOr, if I'm correct. Looks like that was 10 barracks, 10 gas. So this is gonna be some very quick aggression from TerrOr. Usually when Terrans do this, they're gonna go for a 2-tank push with something like 5 to 8 Marines, and then Vultures rallied. And this is something that can catch Protoss players off guard. And we're gonna see a core scout from Yugox this time around. This is a much later scout, but it is better for your economy. And looks like he actually made a Zealot, so this is good. He's gonna have an extra unit to combat any kind of early push. We see TerrOr pulling off gas. And with 10-10, you really want to delay your scout as long as possible. It's a very committed opening, so you need all those minerals early. And second depot here for TerrOr. Nice SimCity. There's a Zealot moving out, the 1 Dragoon. One of the reasons why I like Dragoon Zealot is because you get there before a tank, and if Terran doesn't have the Marine count to defend, you can get a lot of damage done. So we're gonna have 2, possibly 3 Marines. There we go. TerrOr getting caught off guard there. So should get at least a couple swipes on these Marines before they get behind the SimCity. Oh. Okay, and we have 3 on gas from TerrOr, if I'm correct. I think Yugox got a visual on that, so he should know that there's some kind of push coming up here. Oh, he's trying to block with the SCVs. Good job there. A lot of these Marines are damaged, but none actually went down. And because Yugox saw 3 on gas, he should know this is some kind of attack. It could be a 2-fact, just be an FD, and he should throw down a second gate right away. Just playing it safe, but I haven't seen that quite yet. Looks like he's gonna save up for an expansion. Another thing that I don't like that he did, that 1 Zealot, once Terran gets something like 4 Marines, so 1 Zealot is not that effective. But if you go with the Dragoon, instead of chasing the FCV scout, if you go with your first Dragoon, you can put a lot of pressure just keeping that Zealot alive and arriving with the Dragoon. They're not going to have a tank out, and 4 Marines aren't enough. I feel like that was a bit of a misstep there from Yugox. We see TerrOr already pulling off gas. He already got enough for 2 tanks and mines. So now he's just going to rally Vulture, and this will allow him to get a fast expansion after doing this push. I like how he's hiding these Marines in the back. Also be gonna bring 1 SCV with this push just to repair, maybe potentially make a bunker. And this is where it gets difficult for Yugox. That's already a couple tank volleys on these Dragoons. He's got to be careful. It's not a normal FD where you're only dealing with 1 tank. And the second gateway just going down now. He's gonna have something like 4 Dragoons with a 5th coming out. I like the shield battery. I don't know about its placement. It's too far front. I feel like it can get picked off here. But he's gonna need the extra health on these units. He's got to be careful with these low HP Dragoons. He's got to repair. This isn't a high ground. Pulling the probes. Marines are actually pretty low health. So he's going to target one of the tanks. No, not quite. Again, those left Dragoons were very bruised. I think with the shield battery, he might be able to hold here. TerrOr actually just targeting the probes. I feel like he should pull back and kill this shield battery. He lost the SCV, so he can't repair this 1 damage tank. He's got to be careful. With FD, basically, you just want to get some damage done. This isn't necessarily going for the kill. Gets the shield battery, might even get this pylon, and then with the probe kills he got earlier, he's in a fantastic position. You can see he's just going to expand. His command center is actually almost done here. So even though Yugox has a faster nexus, the worker deficit is just too large. And again, the tech is so late as well for Yugox. I like this from TerrOr, just pulling one SCV to repair, and this robo timing is actually just too late. It's only one factory in the early going, so it's unlikely he'll be able to get this done. Yugox actually made one SCV, one Zealot, which will allow him to clear these mines. Dragoons, of course, have to be careful. He doesn't actually know how many are left. And Siege mode is done here. This is why you can't just go mass gate. You do actually need the Observer. This one Dragoon, a hero clearing the mines. Nice blocking though from TerrOr. With that one vulture, looks like one of the tanks, no, not quite. Okay, one of the tanks actually does go down. So this will limit the potential of this getting any more damage done. But that was way more cost effective for TerrOr than it was for Yugox. TerrOr's gotta not overextend here. The second factory only just finished. This tank might actually be trapped here. Oh, why is he going for it? Oh, with the repair, he might be able to save this actually. Okay, just barely gets picked off here. No units left for Yugox, but again, it's 3 gateways. He should be able to defend. He just has to be patient. He's actually going shuttle first. It's so risky. Okay, going with 2 Dragoons is not the play. This SCV is actually extremely clutch. The one tank actually did more damage than the Dragoons did with the self splash, and now I think it's looking grim for you. He actually traded 2 cost inefficiently, and now Marines are even arriving. They're really committing. He's actually rallying tanks now. No more vultures being added. The SCV can even make a bunker here, adding additional factories. And yeah, just too few units now. He's gonna have a shuttle, but I mean, it's probably empty. Maybe there's one Zealot. No, there's actually nothing inside. It's at the point where TerrOr can just unsiege here. He doesn't even need siege mode. Siege mode would probably do more damage to his own units. I think that's a turret at the front as well. Yeah, just not enough units. You want to do this with a frontal attack as well. TerrOr is pretty close to the Nexus. Well, this tank was going to be in siege mode of the Nexus, and that's it. That's a quick 2-0 victory here for TerrOr. I like the idea from Yugox. I like the shield battery. His control is not optimal. He left the damage Dragoon to the left side and never actually healed them with the shield battery. No surprise there. TerrOr, of course, one of the strongest Terran players in the scene. But it's not over for Yugox quite yet. It's gonna go up against the loser of this next match between Gosu Dark and Dark here. Okay, looks like we're going to take a quick break as we wait for the players. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We saw our first match between TerrOr and Yugox. TerrOr won pretty quickly, 2-0. But that'll set us up for the next match from this group. It's going to be Dark against Gosu Dark. Based on the names alone, you have regular Dark and you have Gosu Dark. So I'm going to go Gosu Dark, slight advantage here. Gosu Dark has been someone who's consistently made it into the round of 16 in BSL. Gotten close to round of 8 a couple times and never broke through. Dark is someone who, for the most part, has been in BSL Gosu League, but he's managed to make it to Pro League a couple times. This is actually a pretty even matchup. Maybe slight edge Gosu Dark. PvP is very volatile, and I want to say Gosu Dark is also very volatile, so anything can happen here. As you can see, Gosu Dark round of 16, final 12. So consistently, he's getting into the first and sometimes the second group stage. And you see Gosu Dark mostly in Gosu League. One time BSL 13, he actually made it to Pro League. But we'll see. One thing with Gosu Dark, of course, in every matchup, is the one base expert. So I don't expect these games to go that too long. Always mixing up different kind of strategies. We did see Gosu Dark actually beat Oya last season with just 2 gates all up pressure. Would not be surprised if we saw something like that mixed in this series. But these players should have played each other several times. Dark should be expecting that. And Overwatch is not a great map for it. Kind of long rush distances, and I think we are about to be ready. You can see the terrain on this map. It's basically cross map, and they have to go across bridges and narrow chokes. So our early game attacks are not that strong, and we're finally ready to start here. Right, in the top left, we have Gosu Dark in the color red. In the bottom right, we have Dark in the color blue. 2-player map PvP. The one benefit is you know where your opponent is right away, but that also means they know where you are. You can find yourself facing a lot of proxy gate, a lot of pressure early game. Overwatch has a couple unique map features. There's a very narrow bridge right outside your net, so if you get enough Dragoons, even at a deficit, you can hold any early kind of attack, force your opponent to go through a longer path. So this is one of the maps where early game aggression is not that strong. Alright, both players pylon in main. Nothing spicy happening yet. And of course, if TerrOr is the favorite to advance out of this group, I really feel like the last 2 spots can really go down to any of the players. They are pretty close in level. Yugox is less well known, but he's pretty solid. Gates from both players. Dark not scouting. Gosu Dark scouting right away. Let's see if they go for the gas. Looks like Dark does go for the gas. Gosu Dark going for a slightly later gas. Probably due to the fact that he scouted earlier. Well, of course, the advantage here goes to the player who scouts last because you have extra economy in your early game. But if Gosu Dark sees his opponent going for 1 gate gas, he could probably skip the first Zala. Would be riskier for Dark to do it without having any information, so we'll see. Skipping the first Zala allows you to not cut probes, but Dark, as you can see, he's actually made that Zala already. Gosu Dark not making it, so he's gonna make up for the early scout with this 1 extra probe. You can see Dark is forced to cut here to get this pylon, and now the Nexus will start blinking again. Meanwhile, Gosu Dark has been non-stop producing probes. Well, this is one thing I don't like. I don't like seeing any buildings near the mineral lines in PvP. It makes it that much harder to deal with Reaver harassment later on. Dragoons are going to have a harder time getting to the top side of his Nexus, for example. There's the one Zealot from Dark. Again, no scout at all. Just zero information from him. Until there. Okay, there's a scout. Just very late. Dragoon pops out at around 310. So this probe should hightail out of here. Something you don't want to do is lose this probe. I mean, early game, this probe can only get so much information until Dragoon comes out. So really want to save it. And if you can save it and kill your opponents, that's one probe that they don't have that you do. Oh, looks like Dragoon is going to get this probe. Meanwhile, Gosu Dark escapes with his. So we see the supplies are actually even, but this means Gosu Dark has 2 more probes than Dark. Where's this probe going? It's not going back into the base. Is this a potential proxy? But what would it be proxy? Maybe this is for a rescout later on. And potential Nexus here from Gosu Dark. This is what I was saying earlier. Because it's so hard to attack early game on this map, builds like this are actually very strong. You shouldn't expect your opponent to play aggressively. Looks like we have the same build from from Dark. But you can see how much later his Nexus is because he had less workers. Now both players should cut and go up to 3 gates. And this will hold off any kind of early game aggression. If you're getting 2-gate Dragoon, for example. But everything faster for Gosu Dark. He has the probe advantage. He also didn't make a Zealot. This is not a huge advantage, but it definitely is one. Losing this Dragoon would be massive. Gonna be very hard for this Dragoon to escape, and looks like it actually goes down for Dark there. See, going into a 4-gate. Now, this is interesting because 4 is not all in, but you're really hampering the potential for you to do anything else. Your Robotech is going to be late. He's not even mining gas to get as much minerals as possible. I feel like the early game has just gone sour for Dark. He's lost that extra probe. He had to make a Zealot. His Nexus is much later. Even if you have an extra gate, 4 to 3 is not that big of an advantage like 3 to 2 or 2 to 1 is in particular. By the time he gets across the map, Gosu Dark will have an extra round of Dragoons to defend. And say if you have, like we have 6 for Gosu Dark, but by the time Dark gets here, you'll have more. We actually have 8. And Dark actually lost 1 Dragoon early on, so I think he's even at a Dragoon deficit. Now, these kind of maneuvers always scare me. You could be getting attacked. There's no vision of the front of the bridge at all. When you do this, you usually want to send at least 1 unit to the front, and then the rest of the units through this angle and out. This isn't going to work. Basically, in PvP, when it's like this, whoever attacks is at the disadvantage. Now, seeing this Dragoon number and these amount of Zealots, Gosu Dark should just hightail it out of here. I'm not really sure why he's hanging around. Loses 2 Dragoon for 1 Zealot. It looks like we have a counterattack here from Dark. Now he's going to have 1 more Dragoon potentially, and then he has 4 gates versus 1. The Zealot will actually tank a lot of fire as well, but he has to go the long way around. There's no other way to do this. You can't cross this bridge, really. Oh, it looks like he's going for it. Another Dragoon actually goes down for Gosu Dark. That's 3 Dragoon losses. So now the fact that he's on less gates can potentially hurt him here. He's got to reroute his Dragoons, yeah, fix the concave, possibly even go behind the pylon. I like this. He's gonna reconfirm now. This is looking like a lot more Dragoons than Gosudark. Yeah, he should have 3 about to pop here. Yeah, he's going behind the pylon. Shouldn't be making an observer. He's getting attacked. Should be a Reaver in production. Looks like the observer just popped, so unfortunate timing there. Now the concave is going to be in his favor. This is actually fantastic. You can see how many of Dragoons from Dark wouldn't actually find there. So with that, he should hold. And again, if you head behind the pylon, that pylon is going to take a lot of Dragoon fire. And we actually have Dark going up into even more gateways. Just no robo. Just completely going wild. No detection at all. When you're Gosu Dark's position, this is actually fantastic. You can actually just tech up yourself, get a Reaver for defense and potential harass, and actually go Citadel as well, and force the opposing player to actually react. He's getting contained, which is always a little bit awkward, but he will have the Reavers pretty... There's the first Reaver. And a Forge 4 detection, so it's going to be a lot of cans. At least 2 in the mineral lines, potentially even more. And that should be a Citadel. Yep, there it is. This is a lot of tech that's not being invested into units. The Observer is key here. Gotta be careful with those odds. Really want to go with 2 Reavers, not 1. 2 Reavers will one-shot Dragoons. And he's going up in gateways, so he's going to match the gateway count. And have better tech, so this is good for Gosudark. He might actually go and harass with this. Yeah, but Dark is well aware, and we see the mineral line cannons going down. Of course, he has no detection whatsoever. This is a fast shuttle, so speed already done. Forge and archives. The problem with Dark's build is he's very committed to just gateway units. And it's not that easy to transition out of this when your opponent has superior tech. These 2 Dragoons will potentially... Oh, they just move out of position. The 1 cannon is annoying, but the Reavers will ignore the Zealots. Will tank the fire, and that's a huge scarab already. Gets 5 probes. Gets the cannon. With speed, he will be allowed to escape as well. Well, it's a little bit greedy. Gonna go reroute for the net. You don't know what rally units are there. But fortunately for Gosu Dark, there's nothing here. That's another juicy scarab. We get 4 more probes. And he got a pretty good scout. He saw the gateway count, saw somewhat the tech that Protoss was on. And now this shuttle can just reroute back into the main. He should know. Dark is in a pretty tough bind here. Like, this is almost enough to trigger Dark to just go for it. Of course, there's another viewer at the back. Fantastic position. I like these high ground Dragoons. He's actually bringing back the shuttle. I wonder if this is to go and harass with another couple of Zealots. It would be a little bit risky to bring both Reavers. Maybe he's actually going to try to break out here. Looks like he's going for it. Zealots at the front, taking a lot of Dragoon fire. Dragoon's very clumped. Reavers moving up forward. And the Reavers will have fantastic damage potential here. You can see the Zealots that clump up instantly get picked off, and a huge victory here for Gosu Dark. Supplies plummet for Dark. You can just see the better composition and the nature of the units. When you fight with Dragoons against Reavers, you want your Dragoons to be out in the open, limit the amount of splash from the Scarabs, but he wasn't able to do that. And now he's actually going to get flanked. Potentially lose all these Dragoons here. Fantastic positioning from Gosu Dark. He's able to kill off all these Dragoons. There's 1 High Templar. It's going to have 4 Storms, but again, it's just no remaining army. Reavers, of course, still alive as well. And now just nothing back at home for Dark. There's the GG. Oh, well played by Gosu Dark. I felt like he was ahead from just the early game. He did a really good job with his opening. And Dark committing to the extra gateway, not able to do anything with it. Really slowed down his tech. And just job well done there for Gosu Dark. It was a pretty convincing win. He was basically ahead at all stages of the game from the early game. Sure, he got that scout in and he hurt his economy, but it allowed him to get away with the zealot cut. He also didn't lose his scouting probe. Dark did. He was able to get the faster nexus, faster gates up. And that'll set us up for match number 2. And we're going to the map advanced stage. No longiness from Gosu Dark, doesn't want to see that map. This, if you're Dark after playing that game, or just nothing, you couldn't find an edge in any scenario. Of course, the builds were mirror, but also Dark had an advantage, so it's very difficult to actually go anything. You mix it up, you go deep, you play more standard. Looks like we are finally ready. It's gonna be Butter, another 2-player map. Alright, in the top right we have Dark in the color red. And in the bottom right we have Gosu Dark in the color blue. So another 2-player map. Potential to see some shenanigans, maybe. Butter one of these new maps, and I actually think it's a fantastic map. Normally in 2-player maps you get cross. Here we have same side spawns, so it leads you to some pretty interesting expansions. You could expand towards your opponent, you can just expand horizontally. In PvP in particular, I think you actually want to take the horizontal expansion. Okay, no shenanigans, both pylons in main. Now, something Gosu Dark does a lot, but we haven't seen, is he goes for double gate zealot, and he goes up to 5, sometimes even 7 zealots. But on 2-player maps like Overwatch and Butter, it's not particularly strong. Rush distance is long, and your opponent will scout you right away. Neither player going for gateway scout here. And there's the gas from Dark. And the double gateway from Gosu Dark. Of course, when you go double gateway, you actually scout after second gateway. You don't need to scout right away your opponent. And there's the probe heading out for Dark. So he goes for gas scout, which means he will have enough time to respond. He could go there's a little probe meet up there in the middle of the map. He could go for shield battery in response. Just hold his choke. The final positioning is good for that. You want to go core zealot against this, and then send your Dragoon out, get some shots Now we saw that backfire for Oya in BSL. He couldn't get his Dragoon back in the main, but that was on Monopoly, where the ramp is actually very narrow. Now the question is, how many Zealots does he actually make? Does he only make 3? Does he go up to 5? 7 even? Alright. Second and third Zealot about to pop. It looks like he's only going for 3. So this is one variant which I actually think is very strong. Just the 3 Zealot variant. You get your tech up pretty fast. If you get any damage done, you come out ahead. So it's really on the player with the 1 gate to defend here without taking too much damage. Oh, he's actually going for the Dragoon trap. Now, if he were going Mass Zealot, I actually think this would be a lot stronger. Actually, he is. He's at 25 supplies, not making any probes. He's really committing to this. This is already a lot of damage. Like, just forcing the probe pull. There's actually no Dragoon here from Dark. He's actually going into more Zealots. So, we have 1 Zealot filtering in, and this is already catastrophic now, because we know more Zealots are coming, and now his economy is going to take an even bigger hit. The shield battery will hold off the other Zealots, but I mean, you can see this already got 1 kill. That's a lot of probes that weren't mining. Pulling probes off gas. We actually see a ton of gas from Dark here. Another probe goes down. 1 more would be catastrophic. 2's already pretty bad when you combine that with the probe pulls. And Gosu Dark just retreating back to his base. He knows he's done a ton of damage. Dark going into range right away. Is he going to get an extra gateway and just go potentially 3-gate Dragoon? Even 4-gate Dragoon is viable here. Of course, you don't know what Gosu Dark is doing. Gosu Dark can be going into Citadel right away. So yeah, definitely feel like you force a shield battery, you force the probe pulls, you get 2 probes. Definitely advantageous for Gosu Dark. Oh, actually, I got confused there. Gosu Dark's the one going for 3-gate, and we actually have only 1 gate from Dark. Dragoon Scout, he wants to see the Nexus potentially, but there's no way you can go into a Nexus off that. So this is actually a blind counter here. Is this going to be the Robo? If it's a Robo, it's just too late. Now, we don't see a second gateway from Dark, and just 1 DT is not enough. You need 2 DTs. You need several DTs. You need the DPS from 2 DTs to get the kill. Just 1 DT can be, you just block the choke and get cannons behind that, or even buy time for your observer. 1 DT is very, it's not inconsequential, but it's definitely not enough to go for the kill there. I think he wants to go 1 gate into expand, but I don't know. The DT is gonna pop out now, and then it's gonna be a while before the second DT. So he's gonna have to use the DT for defense here, and it'll give Gosu Dark a lot of time. There's the probe pull. He wants to get on top of the Dragoons. There's only 2 Dragoons. There's so little DPS from Dark. Like, even if the DT pops out now, these Dragoons can bounce around. He's going for the pylon. This is huge. DT isn't gonna come out in time. It's very close. Don't actually know how close it was to finishing. I feel like those are 95 to 99% DT there. But like I said, even if that DT comes out at that time, Gosu Dark has 4 Dragoons, Zealots. They could bounce around, target probes. If he sends it cross map, Gosu Dark just holds his choke with several Dragoons, gets a couple cannons. DT can't do anything. Meanwhile, he's lost his entire main. And going for the 1 pylon was absolutely going for the throat there from Gosu Dark. So well executed play, and well, that's another quick 2-0 series. And Gosu Dark is going to advance into the winners match of this group. And that means we'll be set up for Gosudark and TerrOr and Dark and Yugox. This means, I think, yeah, so Gosudark and TerrOr have already advanced. It's just leading for them at this point. And Dark and Yugox, whoever loses that match is officially out of the BSL Pro League for this season. No. No, I'm fine. We came out of a nice match. Oh, this is going to be a great match. It's very important. You actually want to advance first out of your group if possible. TerrOr should be a favorite here against Gosu Dark, but Gosu Dark definitely has the potential to upset. He has a lot of wacky builds. Don't expect... Like, it's interesting because TerrOr is usually the one who's aggressive in TVP, but up against Gosu Dark, I feel like he's going to be playing defensively. Okay. Alright, looks like we're ready to head into the winners match. Finally. It'll be on Monopoly. And we have in the bottom left spawn, TerrOr in the color blue. And in the top left, Gosudark in the color red. On Monopoly, it's a crazy map. There is one to mix in drop play, but going drop against Gosudark can be risky because you know he's gonna stay on one base for a very long time, and what good is going drop against a one basing product? I expect fireworks early on, at least from Gosudark. TerrOr, we saw in his match against Yugox with the 2 racks and the strong FD, really looking for early kills. No proxy pylon. There's TerrOr with his first depot. Gate from Gosu Dark, no scout right away, so he's not gonna go for any kind of gas steal. Looks like he just gonna go up to Dragoon Tech here. Of course, in PvT, unless you're doing something super early, there's no reason to scout that fast. So just going for Gateway Scout is pretty standard. TerrOr meanwhile not going for 10-10. Just standard racks and factory and gas timing. I still think Core Zealot is a good opener. Less so on this map because there's ramp and Terran can defend that much easier with that very narrow choke. Just want to see if he can block it. We actually have 2 scouting units meeting up here. There's just having his core, second pylon. Looking at the supply, looks like he didn't make a zealot, which is also fine. There's a Sim City next to the barracks with the depot. Factory going down now for TerrOr. He already pulled off gas, he only has 1. Now, of course, this could be a fake potentially. Once you see that probe leave, you just put 2 back, but looks like he's just gonna play standard here. Meanwhile, Gosudark, no fast second gate. Probe's still hanging around here. Stealing some minerals on top of it, but we don't see anything quite yet for Gosudark. He is going for Dragoon range. Second Dragoon is being produced. It might be able to stop this SCV from getting in just in time. We're actually making a 3rd pylon, so not going for the Nexus off 2 Dragoons. Looks like we're just non-stop producing Dragoons. Probe wants to get up the ramp, see what's going on. He just sees 3 Marines. 3 Marines is standard. If you see 4, 5, then you know something's up. Terran doesn't want to make that many Marines if they're just going to expand. And a high ground command center. So this is interesting because he definitely could have just made the bunker. 3 Marines will hold off 1 Dragoon. Maybe he wasn't confident in his scouting. Maybe he felt like something was going on. And is that a robo? Oh, next to the ramp, a little bit south. Looks like Gosudark made something. It's 2 gate or 3 gate ops. Okay, so this is a Gosudark special. This is something you basically never see other than Gosudark. We actually have 4 on gas from TerrOr, not really sure why. Left refineries, you only need 3. Sometimes on right refineries, you actually do need the 4. But I mean, this is a pretty strong and aggressive opener from Protoss. This is something you see against against other Protosses. The reason why it can work against Terran is Terran in the early game, they usually just make 1 tank. They get behind the bunker, they sneak out some vultures, sneak out the vultures to lay mines. But it can catch a lot of Terrans off guard, and any kind of aggression obviously gets shut down by 3 gate ops. TerrOr is playing very cautiously. I mean, high ground turret, high ground command center. He's probably going to make a 2nd turret. He's going to wall potentially even with the eBay and barracks. So, I mean, this is about as conservative as an opener you can see from a Terran player. And behind this, we know Gosudark is going for a very strong attack. And unfortunately, just going to get walled here. You can see the tanks are actually even further back than normal even. Well, Gosudark not going for an attack. And that's an armory from TerrOr. So he's just gonna go into upgrades. And the problem with this opener now is his expansions are very late. It's probably gonna have to double expand. Now he's taking the high ground third, not the one near to him, which is a little bit more vulnerable to vulture play. But this one is actually very vulnerable to drop play. So there's always a trade-off. Observer coming in. Oh, gets in just before the turret's complete. Gonna see the factory count, knows it's only at 2. Is turret actually gonna complete the turret ring? Is the next question. Looks like he's gonna kill this one turret. Sadly misplaced. He's gonna need the scanner. We're gonna replace that with a better position. One, we have vultures with speed. They might not even have mines. This might be speed before mines. This pylon wall. I think that's complete, but I can never really tell. Now he's gonna come here, see no third. That's a lot of dragoons. Now TerrOr, I'm sure he did this because I know TerrOr's a good player. He scanned the natural and he clicked the minerals to see how many minerals have been mined, and he sees, whoa, this is a fresh nexus. Guy took a really late expansion. So you should realize he's in a good position here, but at least in economy. He's looking for that third, doesn't really know where it is. +1 not spinning. Not what you want to see as turn. Curious Mind, I think that's just to see a shuttle potentially. And TerrOr, 4 on gas. At both gases? No, it looks like he fixed the main. Ooh, is he gonna be able to get this transfer? Looks like Gosu Dark is doing a good job to escort these probes at least. And no, he's trying to. Oh, one gets in, but it's 5 HP. TerrOr doesn't realize it though. Gosudark doesn't either. I mean, it's not even shooting anything. A standoff here between a vulture and a pylon. I actually have no idea. Maybe it was attacking a unit that moved out of range and now it got stuck. Again, this shouldn't be that much of a threat because one probe will one-shot it. But it's just not. Oh, this could be broken. I mean, look at these unit positionings. This is all very random. SCVs, not mining. I think that's just too many SCVs not mining. I mean, Gosu Dark is adding stuff though. No reaction here from TerrOr. I mean, that's a random retreat. Yeah, so I think this is definitely broken. Look how many SCVs TerrOr has. Yeah. That's so unfortunate. Broken replay. In 20. Broken live game actually. So even crazier, but it's still happening. We're gonna wait out the match to actually finish and then cast from around 9 minutes, 8:30 when it looked fine. From how things were going, it looks like we were going to a macro game there. And yeah, I think we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back once the game actually gets complete. All right, so we're back. We're gonna jump back into the game. We have the replay now. We're gonna jump at around the same point where we left off, where it was broken. So here we are, TerrOr setting up to take his third. Ooh, Gosu Dark is actually being aggressive here. I don't know about this. Only Dragoons, not a single Zealot. There's no mines here to buffer for the tanks, though. You can see the Dragoons walking forward, sniping a lot of the tanks here. They're down to one tank. That's a huge mine connection, though. So we're gonna get even another tank. So about an even trade, I think. Gosudark lost more overall, but now we have vultures in the meantime. And we see that probe count plummeting there for Gosudark. Gosudark lost more overall, but TerrOr lost the very important tanks. TerrOr's on very low tank count. He does have actually still only one add-on here. But we see a huge worker lead for him, and he's going into science facility. He's gonna get his upgrades. And one of the things about Monopoly, if you're the Protoss players, you can't go ground army arbiter on this map. It's very difficult to engage. You just don't have a lot of terrain to maneuver. You don't have a lot of good areas to engage. We see an even supply count, which means the workers that Gosudark is lacking means he's gonna have more army here. TerrOr on a low tank count has to be a little bit careful. You should be laying a lot of mines here. Yeah, only 3 tanks, only 4 factories. We're on something like 7 gates for Gosudark. Vultures gonna go to top right. Can't get in. Again, the mines are key here. They're gonna help TerrOr by a lot of time. There's no shuttle to get on top of these tanks, but there's not even that many tanks. Zealots waltzing through. It's like they're able to eat a lot of the mines. There's 2 more tanks in the back now. There's still a lot of Dragoons left over. It's like the final 2 tanks have been taken out. Now the problem is TerrOr's only on 1 factory with an add-on. His second add-on just finished. So he has very little units. There's just so many Dragoons left over there for Gosudark. TerrOr gotta save the SCVs. The command center is forfeit, but his position isn't that terrible. He's getting good upgrades. Gosudark has a lot less SCVs or probes than Protoss would normally have in this scenario. He doesn't even have any further tech, just Citadel. Comes another rally of Zealots, and I think this is actually enough to break TerrOr here. He just doesn't have any units left. No high ground tanks either. It's like one finally pops here, but just no units left over. Vultures being rallied up, but they're getting picked off right away. It's like we do have a drop, but those probes have been evacuated. Just one tank on the high ground getting a lot of damage done here. But more Zealots coming. The Dragoons have been kept alive, and then it's even more Zealots streaming through. And there it is, GG from TerrOr. Gosu Dark with somewhat of a huge upset here. Not in terms of like the quality of players, but I think the game state where he was basically down 20 workers, but he found a good angle to engage. And TerrOr underestimated the potential of that attack and really just got overrun. Just didn't have enough tanks and job well done by Gosu Dark. During that time, TerrOr was getting a lot of harassment done, but wasn't focusing on the defense, which was what he really needed. More harassment, sure, it's good, but we've already weakened Protoss to 38 probes. Really have to defend there, and that means Gosu Dark is up 1-0, like I said. Even though TerrOr is the favorite here, Gosu Dark can definitely go pull off an upset. TerrOr had held there. If he loses a third, it's bad, but I think it's still playable. He's working on 2-1, and Protoss only has 30-something probes, but critically they have 0 tech. So definitely could have come back and won, but once he got busted. Third and natural. So game number 2, again, if Gosu Dark win, advance first out of this group would be pretty surprising. TerrOr, of course, one of the favorites with Dandy to win. I mean, they're basically the 2 best players in the whole region. We're ready for game number 2. Alright, looks like the map is Sylphid. And at the 12 o'clock we have the blue Terran TerrOr. And in the bottom left, we have the red Terran, red Protoss Gosu Dark. Zero, I'm having some audio issues, but it might just be me. Let me see if I can fix this. All right, I'm back. Zero, do you hear me? For some reason. Okay, there it works now. Perfect. I still don't hear you though, Zero, but that's fine. I know. Sophie, we did see TerrOr play earlier on this map against Yugox, and he went for a strong FD. Again, not likely to see that this time around. You are going up against Gosudark. You should expect. I mean, last game he went for 3-gate obs and didn't attack. So a completely nonsensical opening, and I guess it worked out. He took a third. He wasn't that far behind on economy until he lost to the probes. Nice SimCity there from TerrOr. Now this factory is going to be very late. He only has 1 on gas. So I think he's looking to scout, and then depending on what he sees, he'll either go for factory or command center. That's why he only has the 1 on gas. This is a more flexible opening than going just racks expand with like a 15 or 16 command center. This is a read and react opening from TerrOr here. He's finally gonna get this scout in. You can see he'll have enough to go for either, but not both. So he could delay his factory a little bit, or he could delay his command center a little bit. Both are viable here, but he just sees Gosudark with 1 gate playing standard. Ooh, this probe actually sees the command center timing. Now, this is a little awkward of a command center timing. If I were Gosudark, this is not that common of an opener from Terran. It's hard to get a read here. So instead of like a 231 or 230 factory, we actually have a 320 factory. But this is still a lot faster than Rax Expand. So it's kind of an in-between build. But perfectly viable here. Gosudark, hard to get a read on what Terran is doing. 3 Marines will hold off this 1 Dragoon. Like, the Dragoon is going to get off 1 Marine kill. Gonna run in, but this is a dead Dragoon. At least you'll have a scout. Second Dragoon is on the way. 2 Dragoons is definitely more threatening than 1, even with 1 pretty low. If I were him, I would actually just run out with this Dragoon. Job already accomplished. I would not commit a second Dragoon. Just leave. Leave and save these Dragoons. Okay, maybe get the SCV building a command center, but don't get trapped. Drill. Okay, that's 1 dead Dragoon. And now this other Dragoon is just trapped. Oh, looks like he managed to escape. Okay, so what do we get? We actually got 1 SCV and like 2 or 3 Marines. We actually forced TerrOr to make more Marines. We're ranging the bunker. So all in all, not terrible for Gosu Dark. This command center is quite late though. I mean, it's Nexus quite late in comparison. We have the first tank in production. The Dragoon is on the way. Going up to 3 gates. Citadel. No Robo. TerrOr going up to 2nd factory. The Dragoon is here. TerrOr, it's gotta react. We're at 200 HP. There it is. This tank won't have siege. He's not even upgrading it. This is a dance. You always gotta be careful. He's poking the little Dragoon. 1 tank shot away from being dead. Fourth Dragoon is on the way. This is where it actually gets scary, but we already have 2 low Dragoons. I think a committal here would be very risky for Gosudark. Looks like he's gonna go for it, but second tank is already out. And he's gotten a ton of shots. It's gonna be 3 volleys. Looks like he is gonna get 1 tank and not even lose a single Dragoon there. So very good control. Second add-on for TerrOr here, so maybe he's looking to put on some pressure, but we know Gosudark's on 3 gates. He has a Citadel. No Robo. They're already making Zealots. It's gonna be speed Zealots. I don't know about this. Archives? Yeah, so not even a Robo. Thing is, yeah, sure, speed Zealots are gonna be great against a low number of tanks. Yeah, but look how cautiously TerrOr is playing. Usually, as Terran, you're looking to push out in this scenario, but he's going defensive mines. So just reading the player more than anything here. Now, 3 mines is not going to be enough against the large number of Zealots that are coming across the map. See even some more mines being placed. The bunker is key here. Ooh, speed is done. And, well, this is double S now. Does Gosu Dark go for the attack here? TerrOr sees the speed. He's pulling the SCVs. He knows what's coming. Why is he targeting his racks? Oh, that 1 mine! Gotta repair the bunker. This bunker can't go down. Oh man, the bunker is actually gonna go down. That's so many SCVs repairing. Looks like he's gonna hold. In the end, a pretty easy defense. He did lose a lot of SCVs with 1 mine drag, but he's gonna be able to defend. And back at home, what does Gosu Dark actually have? Just the 3 gateways and archives. He actually has a weird wall here, but his attack has been thwarted and TerrOr wins. The key there was holding the bunker. That SCV pull was perfect. Actually pretty close. If the bunker falls, there were still enough left over. The tanks not in a great position. Definitely could have gone, but he holds. Kaiser 1-1. One win away from seeing who wins this group. I've seen DT opener into speedlot follow-up, and that's actually a very strong all-in, but this is a little bit more confusing. What was the TerrOr's ban? Okay, so Gladiator has been banned. The only thing I would have done from Gosu Dark is probably cut more probes and gotten 4 or 5 gate. I'm more ham on it. Because you're very committed either way, so why not just really go for it? So 1-1. We saw Gosudark go for 1 cheese and 1 standard game. He won standard game. That game was pretty wonky, even if they both played just expansion. And, I mean, he opened up with 3 gate off 1 base. Looks like we're finally ready. The map is going to be Overwatch. This is interesting. TerrOr banned Gladiator instead of Overwatch. Now, as a Terran, Gladiator 4-player map, you do have a low ground main, which is awkward, but it's only awkward in the first, I don't know, 2 minutes. Then you can kind of work around it. But instead, you're going up on against Gosu Dark on a 2-player map. You could see shenanigans early on, and a map that I don't think is particularly good for PvP. The third is very far away. It's very hard to deal with carriers in the mid game. So we'll see. No early probe going out for Gosu Dark. This depot placement, I think that's the scout earlier. See if a probe is coming to take the gas. Mark is saying TerrOr won on this map in BSL against Bonif. No, I don't think that's correct. This map hasn't been in a BSL for a while. Maybe BSL 11, the one Bonif won over TerrOr. Double check that really quick. Yeah, and Bonif did win on that map. Okay. Back into the game. Just standard SimCity here from TerrOr. Got his gas up. Gosudark, on the other hand, just playing standard as well. Nothing too crazy quite yet. Second pylon. I like when you play PvT, you really gotta map out your building placement early game, and it'll just make it easier to deal with drops. So if there's a area behind the mineral line, you want to cut that off from potential vultures. Then you want a SimCity around your nexus so drops can't get into your mineral line that easily. There's the 1 Dragoon. There's a factory. Dragoon range just started for Gosu Dark. I think TerrOr wants to see if there's a second pylon anywhere. And seeing the third pylon is a pretty huge tell that nothing is going on. He still hasn't seen that second pylon though. He's looking. You can see, checking the entire base. Just pops out. Now he's gonna come back. He sees it now. Now that's a sigh of relief for Terran. He knows Protoss is not up to anything. And we see TerrOr just gonna go and plant that command center right away. Only 2 Marines. He knows the Dragoon is chasing off the SCV, and he knows no Zealot was made. So he can get away with the 2 Marine command center. Make a bunker. Looks like Gosu Dark is just gonna expand. But this is something you don't see that often anymore. You don't see range into expansion. You usually see Nexus and even the Robo sometimes before range, because this really slows down your tech, and the range isn't really going to help you against a Terran who's just doing a fast expand. don't know what that was in the add-on. I think that was not Siege. I don't know how much gas TerrOr had there. No detection quite yet. And just standard from Gosu Dark. Robo, 440 Robo. I mean, in earlier metas, that was fine, but to see a Robo this late, actually pretty surprising. I like the rescout here from TerrOr. I like that Gosu Dark also kept one Dragoon at the ramp at all times, but seeing this many Dragoons, looks like he's only going to see 2-1 actually went away. He sees the Nexus timing there. Not able to get up the ramp, but he got a lot of information with that SCV. Second gate from Gosu Dark, potentially even a third gate. Only the one factory from TerrOr, so it was actually Siege. That's an armory, second gas. Now, one of the reasons why Fast Observer is good, because you can get to the turn base obviously much faster. But really, it would allow you to do things that Gosu Dark is not currently doing. Like take a third out of 530, stay on 2 gateways, but he's just playing very cautiously in the opening. TerrOr second gas is finished. Looks like he's putting workers on it now. Only one factory still. 6 minutes. There's the third base for Gosu Dark, but he's, like I said, it's 6:30. He's taking it now. He could have taken this before the additional game, so he's really just slowing down his own build. Just when you slow down your tech, we'll see what kind of Citadel time you can get. Finally, we get a second factory from TerrOr. Looks like he has a turret ring, but it actually doesn't cover like the right side of his natural. A probe can, an observer can sneak by there. But still no third nexus. So this build that TerrOr's doing is very abusable by Protoss, but because the observer and the natural are so late, Gosu Dark is not able to take advantage of this. Again, just waiting for the Citadel. Looks like there's a turret under that, hard to tell. But it's not a complete turret ring from TerrOr. That's potentially Goliath range at the factory. Is he within range of the starport? Looks like not quite. But seeing the starport in such a low factory count, okay, yeah, he does see it. He should know this is just upgrades now. He can probably cut Dragoons here actually, and potentially even take a 4th base. This Citadel, this looks like a 7:30 Citadel, 7:20 maybe, very late. His Arbiter timing is going to be super late in comparison to TerrOr's 2-1 timing. Now, supplies are actually very close, which is surprising because when Terran is on such a low factory count and Protoss is on 4 gateways, you'd expect Protoss to be up 20 supply at this point of the game, but we actually only see Gosu Dark up 5, 7, 10. One scan goes down, sees the gateway count. What TerrOr's really looking for here is the kind of tech Gosu Dark is on, and it's just speed Citadel. We did see this work out well in game number 1. Second armory, was looking for that. This might be 2 base 2-1 from TerrOr. We'll see how many factories he actually goes up to. Terrans have really delayed the 3rd command center, prioritizing their upgrades. Yeah, again, no further tech from Gosu Dark. He's just really gonna go for it. He's getting a 3rd gas, which if you're just going Dragoons out, you don't even need more than 1 gas. We'll see what he plans to transition to later. TerrOr going up to 6 factories. It's like 7. Yeah, so you can afford 7 factories. And we see the 1 factory has been producing non-stop tanks. And this is basically how you do it. How you can afford to go for siege mode, life upgrades, vulture upgrades, and 7 factories and 2-1, all off just 2 gases. You stay on the 1 add-on for a very long time with this. And because he scanned, he saw no Arbiter tech, he can afford to just not go Vessel. So now finally Gosu Dark supply is shooting up. Again, it's kind of awkward to... Whoa, 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 whoa. What is this? This is extremely risky, moving on like this across this small bridge. Is Terran. He wants to get a turret across the other side, so he has an easier way to push. He might even actually expand to this base. The key here for Terran, of course, is just setting up a lot of mines. Again, Gosudark doesn't really have any tech, doesn't really even have upgrades. It's just going to be mass gateway units. Finally see a forge. Very late Stargate. Again, moving across this bridge is very awkward. I feel like Gosudark has potential to pounce on this. Well, there's gonna be max pretty soon. He already has the 7 factories up. Vultures, as you know, produce extremely quickly. His tank count is getting to close to a good number, around 12. He's already done the hardest part, which is move across that very narrow bridge. Looks like Gosudark is setting up for an attack. There's not a lot of mines here. In fact, there's no mines near the tanks. TerrOr has to get across this very narrow bridge. Gotta go before all these zealots can get on top of these tanks. Oh, the barracks. He's gotta float the barracks forward to buy time. But yeah, this is not how you want to do it as Gosudark. Vulture's in position, protecting the tanks wall. You see Zealot's not getting anywhere near those tanks. He's rerunning the tank fire to deal with the Dragoons better. I think a lot of the tanks have actually gone down though. But they're having a really difficult time going across this bridge. Zealots now on top of the tanks. There's only 4 Dragoons left over, but that rally of Zealots that got across was absolutely massive for Gosudark's attack there. And now he's reset the tank count. TerrOr should be going up to 3 add-ons here, even on 2 gas. He already has a lot of the tech available. He doesn't need to spend more gas on further teching up. But he has been slowed down. Now the thing is, in a normal game where Protoss was going Arbiter, and they already had Arbiters at this time, this game would be extremely difficult for Protoss. But because TerrOr, or I should say Gosudark's Arbiters are so late, there's definitely a chance for TerrOr. Just maneuver them out around the map, take a third, and play on from there. Normally when you do 2 base 2-1 and your attack gets stopped before you can even get halfway across the map, the game's over. But Gosudark traded off a lot to get a lot of units. No 4th base, no tech. But still a good position for Protoss. We only have 5 tanks, maybe? Only coming out 2 at a time. Should be 3 at a time now that we have the 3rd base established. One thing that's a little bit concerning for Gosudark is he hasn't taken top right. Top right is very hard for Terran to attack. On the flip side, this middle base is a lot easier. He's gonna do a loop around. He's gonna try to find an angle here. But again, attacking across the small bridge is very difficult. There are no tanks in siege mode, only mines. These Zealots will buy himself some time, but no, looks like he's not gonna commit. And this is the problem with taking this middle base. Very exposed, very easy for TerrOr to get here with vultures. Now, supplies are pretty close, but this is actually a deceptive supply for both. Protoss' army isn't that strong. It's only Dragoon Zealots, no High Templars, no Arbiters. And Terran's army is very Vulture heavy. Okay, going up on high ground. There's not that many tanks here. There's not that many mines either. Zealots getting kind of stuck behind the Dragoons though. It's like so far the Zealots have all gone down. Now there's only Dragoons left. So that was a good defense there from TerrOr. And the fourth has been shut down here for Gosu Dark. So even though Gosu Dark had a fantastic engagement earlier, he's really limited in terms of plan now. He's on equal economy. TerrOr already has vessels out. He's getting EMP. Really want to take top right as Protoss. There we have finally a probe being sent. Gonna double expand here. At least has 1-0. TerrOr should be on 2-1, working on 3-2. Being annoying with vultures, but there's good final walls everywhere. Looks like he's using this opportunity as units are distracted to move to this base that was attempting, Gosudark's attempting to take, but there's nothing there quite yet, just Dragoons. Again, the tank count isn't that high, only at 10, 11, okay, a little bit better now. Gosu Dark is way out of position. He has groups of units everywhere. Except we have several stasises available. Could even be a potential Hail Mary recall here. There has to be careful not to get caught. He's walking into a flank. This is a lot of Arbiters. EMP wasn't used. That's one big stasis. We have another huge stasis available. Very nice concave, and now with the flank, even if it's mostly pure Dragoons, this should be a very favorable engagement for Gosu Dark. He's having a tough time getting close to these tanks, but now with the majority of the army stasis, TerrOr reinforcing, but he's not going to be able to get in position to save these tanks. Might even lose these reinforcing ones. A lot of Goliaths coming. Could take out this Arbiter potentially. Looks like he's somehow just barely able to hold. And now the problem is, you really want to kill this army before it unstasises. If Terran can save the army, then it just snowballs from there. It looks like one stasis has ward. There we go. All units unstasis, and now supply lead for TerrOr. Gosu Dark not being able to kill that was huge. We see his main is mined out. His natural is about to be mined out. He's only now taking top right. Meanwhile, TerrOr is thinking bottom left. TerrOr has 3-2. I think Gosu Dark has 2-1, but again, Terran upgrades are way more impactful. Not just the 1-0, but double forward spinning. One EMP would end this game very swiftly here. So there's got to be careful not to get caught clumped up. That's basically the only way you can lose any kind of fight here. Just pushing towards that fourth base. He knows Gosu Dark is very low on economy here. Good stasis there to buy himself some time. Looks like his move units wants to go across the smart bridge. One Arbiter here isn't going to get EMP'd right away. I mean, this is a lot of clump units from Gosu Dark. Tanks dealing with the majority of the Zealots before sieging up. Good stasis there. Manages to get one of the vessels, but then he just doesn't have enough left over to deal with the army, even with the good stasis. TerrOr has a lot of production. Gosu Dark really never able to get this established early enough. The 4th base was shut down and mid left a couple times. You can see it's only on something like 8-9 gateways, and TerrOr is matching that with his factory count. It seems like there are Terran units everywhere across the map. There's a lot of vision with the mines. Another stasis to save this Nexus. And there's the GG. So TerrOr has beaten Gosu Dark, and that was a very tough series there. Game 1, Gosu Dark somehow wins that. Game 2 goes for an all-in. Maybe it would have worked if he killed the bunker. And now Game 3 kills the first big push from TerrOr, and TerrOr was really on the back foot from there, but just didn't have the subsequent follow-up plan. Just really struggled to take a 4th. His tech was late. And that means TerrOr has won this group. He's gonna go on into the round of 12, beaten into the winner's bracket. And that means Dark versus Yugox, and then the winner goes up against Gosu Dark. Yeah, so we're gonna take a quick break before we jump into that series. We'll be right back. All right, so we're back. TerrOr winning this group over Gosudark in a very tight and contested series, which will set us up for a couple best of threes, all PvP now. First Dark versus Yugox, and then the winner against Gosu Dark. Now the loser of this match is going to be out of BSL Pro League, and then the winner of the deciders match will go into the winner's bracket in the round 12. The loser advancing to the much more cutthroat losers bracket, or you just lose once and you're out of the tournament. So definitely very impactful. Definitely want to advance second out of this group and not third. We'll see a lot of PvP, high variance matchup. Dark definitely look to be on the back foot against Gosu Dark. See how Yugox does in PvP. The little I know of Yugox, I actually know that he does better against Terran and Zerg than he does against Protoss. We see his PvP is actually his best matchup in this small sample size from BSL, but Dark on the other hand is more well-rounded, does about the same against all races. And it looks like we're ready to jump into game number 1. And the map is gonna be okay. Okay, so it worked out there. We're on Longinus. And we have Dark in the top left spawn. And Yugox in the bottom right spawn. Now I'm trying to think about PvP on this map a little bit. Stuff like 2-gate Zealot, which Gosu Dark likes to do, is very risky. Why? Because you can be going up against a Protoss going 10-15 gate, which is normally not a good build in PvP. It just gets easily shut down by your opponent going 2-gate Goon. But on a map like this or Gladiator, 10-15 gate can be very hard to deal with. And if you're opening up 2-gate Zealot, you're delaying your Dragoon tech. It's basically an auto loss. So I don't think we'll see that from Gosu Dark. And then in the mid game, we have a mineral only third, but we have a double gas fourth base. So if it goes into the late game, I expect to see a lot of heavy Archon composition, a lot of Storm, and potentially even Arbiters. Oh, I got confused there. I was saying I was saying Gosu Dark, but I meant Dark. We'll see. We have Gateway from both players. Dark going for the scout right away. Yugox delaying that. Don't see a second Gateway. Looks like we are going to see actually double gate from both. Nope. Just a delayed 12 gas from Dark. He actually misscouted. What is? I mean, why is this? I'm thinking about this. Why is this even terrain? Why isn't this all water? Because it does have a pretty big impact. Like you can funnel, if you just get tanks there and then you start following units in with the dropship, it can be very annoying for Protoss. Yeah, but like I said, I do not like this opener from Yugox at all. It's so risky. Right? One thing I like to do, if I were in Dark's position here, and so we do have a second gate right away. We are cutting probes. So we have the potential for, well, this isn't exactly 10-15 gate, but basically the idea is the same. get a lot of Dragoons fast, you get range, and then you abuse the fact that your opponent isn't going for that. And we actually have the gas from Yugox as well. So this isn't even going to be cannon expand kindness. He's actually going into Dragoons himself. These 3 Zealots have to do so much damage for Yugox. Otherwise, I feel like without the ramp, it's going to be tough for him to hold. But Dark hasn't actually gotten Dragoon range really fast. I think he might have started, but nope, not even started. He only has 1 on gas. I feel like this is a big misstep. I like the Dragoon moving out, getting a couple shots on these Zealots. Okay, probe is pretty low. Gonna get picked off. 1 probe down. Can't lose a Dragoon and can't lose too many probes. You want a micro near your middle line like this so you don't have to be at 2 screens. Second Dragoon just popped, but I think it was rallied, and this is where it starts to get a little hectic, a little chaotic for the defender. You really need to be composed. Okay, looks like the Zealot goes down, so that means we have 2 Zealots in the middle line. And unfortunately, I think this is already bad for Dark. I don't want to say it's game over, but this is a pretty grim scenario where you lost significant amount of probes. Sure, you have these 4 Dragoons. Yugox already has double gateway. He's going to be able to match. And Yugox is actually going to have faster range, which is something that should never happen. And because he only had 1 on gas, he can actually get range and produce non-stop Dragoons. One of these Dragoons is badly bruised, so by the time he gets across the map, it's going to be 4 versus 4. Let's see how close this timing is, because, okay, there's a 3rd Dragoon. Gonna get a pylon in front. No, looks like he was gonna go scout. He'd get the first round of shots. This would be absolutely huge, but no, looks like good reaction there from Dark. Well, this should be 6 Dragoon Robo. He's gotta hold this high ground. Pretty soon, Yugox is gonna have range. Actually, 4 Dragoons, 2 Zealots. Kind of an interesting decision there. And he just moves to get he's gonna attack from a different angle here, but this allows Dark to get the full scout. The problem here is both players are expanding, but what player doesn't have Dragoon range? Again, we have defender's advantage with the faster reinforcement, and we're starting to see the damage that Dark took early on because he doesn't have a robo. He's already down 6 supply. Most of this is workers. He's going into more gateways. Again, he still doesn't have range quite yet. Of course, Yugox doesn't know. Now this is 7 Dragoons versus 6. Both have a couple of Zealots, so I think he shouldn't really attack. I don't think it'll work. I like the pylon there to block that off. Again, no robo from Dark, just going to max gateways. We got 3 gate ops from Yugox. And again, one thing I mentioned earlier, okay, looks like we have the attack. Dark looks like he got the first volley on just Dragoons, picks off 2 Dragoons right away, but no Zealots left over for Yugox. Not for Dark. Yugox's Zealots did a good job there, but nice micro moving around the Dragoons by Dark. Looks like in the end, about an even trade, but now these Zealots are going to get cleaned up. One key here is he actually gets into the main. He sees everything. He sees the Nexus. He sees 4 gates. No further attack. So that getting into the main is actually huge there. The thing about PvP is if you know what your opponent's doing, you can counter. So at this point, he saw the gateway coming, saw no tech, no second gas. He should just play defensively. Now the Observer's going to give him even more information. He's already got the support bay on the way. And something I said earlier, 4 gate against 3 is not a huge advantage for the 4 gater. It's not like 3 versus 2 or 2 versus 1, where sure they have defender's advantage, but if you're attacking, you reinforce with more, and it could quickly snowball. 4 gates versus 3, that is way less likely to happen. Although we did have a big fight where Dark ended up with 4 Dragoons left over. You can see he's not going to be able to capitalize on that. Ooh, looks like 1 Dragoon's getting picked off there. Yugox has to play calmly. Can't be giving away units for free like that. Ooh, another Dragoon wanted to go forward. Reaver is done though. The 1 pylon really buying him a lot of time. Have to be careful with the Reaver. But this should be a pretty easy hold here for Yugox. Now Dark, this is one way you go all in. Sometimes you go all in by cutting workers, but sometimes you go all in by cutting tech. This scare might actually, okay. It's gonna dud. Still no second gas. Really delayed his robo. He's getting Citadel at least at a good timing, but Yugox can just match the tech and he has better everything basically. Better composition. He has more gas. Is that a second Citadel? Looks like Dark. Yeah, that is a second Citadel. Yeah, there's only 1 upgrade at the Citadel, so it's not like going double to Fighter Mount. Just gonna go up to 6 or 7 gateways and do something similar to what he did in game number I think that was 1 against Gosu Dark. The problem is your opponent already has Reavers, and Dragoon Zealot is not a good composition to have against an opponent that has Reavers. You either want pure Dragoons and catching them off guard with a huge concave, or you want to take up further. You don't want to stay on Dragoon Zealot. This is a very, very healthy probe count here from Yugox as well. He should be going up to something like 8 gateways now. Yeah, it looks like we finally had some probes being added. I like the pylons to spot. Yugox shouldn't really attack or harass without speed. Dark is prepared for that. Dark has, I mean, this is 8 gateways. But again, the tech is very low. Just Dragoon Zealot. Maybe +1. Okay, so Yugox was only on 4 gateways there. I think he has shot up to something like 7. He does have 1 Reaver at least. Potentially even 2. Dark really wants to minimize the amount of splash that this Reaver can distribute. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to split off like this. Okay, so it looks like it is just 1 Reaver. Okay, it is 2 Reavers, so a lot of Zealot losses from both sides. Another Dragoon count has gone down. Dark has significantly more Dragoons. But the True Reavers at the back got a ton of damage done. But now Zealots are coming in. This will allow Dragoons to creep forward. Not targeting the shuttle or the Reaver though. But he has a nice spread. Very little damage done with the Scarabs. Somehow Yugox is actually winning. I don't know how. I mean, Dark just didn't do a good job of picking off the Reavers. Definitely felt like he had an opportunity a couple times to pounce forward and snipe that shuttle, but now Yugox is even taking a third. Might get a couple juicy scarabs here. That's a 9-kill Reaver, and those are all units. Not a single pro has been killed yet. Okay, so this a little bit sloppy there from Yugox, kind of not prioritizing the kill and going for harass. If you just keep all your units to there, you have a unit advantage and you have Reavers, you can't really lose. But putting off his units, distracting Dark, and there's a GG from Dark. And Yugo is up 1-0. Again, the build from Dark is not that optimal, but you can get good engagements if you can pick off the Reaver before they can get a lot of damage done. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that in any of the games where he opted for the mass gateway style. We'll see. Dark is really gonna have to try something else. He's one game away from being eliminated, and I mean, solid play from Yugox. He did a lot of damage with the 2-gate early on, and just played solidly from there. He scouted and reacted accordingly. The maps that are left, Sylphid kind of plays a little bit similar to Longinus. You don't have ramps. You do have that one big ramp on Longinus. And Butter to play map. Could see that, we'll see. Except we're ready though. Dark versus Yugox, game number 2. And it is Sylphid. And in the bottom left, we have Yugox. And in the bottom right, we have Dark. So we'll see twice. Dark has gone up against 2-gate. His first response was to go for shield battery. Last game, he went for 2nd gate, but didn't get range. Wasn't able to put in really that much counter pressure. So definitely feels like he needs to work on his response to the 2-gate. This is another map where, because you don't have ramp, the 2-gate isn't as strong, the 2-gate Zealot. One build that's really strong on this map is actually going for 2-gate Dragoon, where you get the 2nd gate on 21 and you cut a couple probes. That's a very strong build where it's not necessarily all in, but you can get some quick wins or quick advantages from the early game. Looks like we're gonna have a next burst from Yugox. Interesting. It's actually gonna be an 11 next. It's not even 12 or 13. Like 13 is something I've actually seen a lot. So going for 11 much earlier. Wonder why that is. Pylon isn't at the front. Is he gonna go into the double gateway? He's gonna force gateway follow up. Interesting. Second pylon at the natural. I'm thinking this is Gateway Forge. Sometimes you see players go double gateway, and you can get off a lot of zealots. Enough zealots to deal with one gate dragoon as you tech up and get forge behind it. But just a one gateway. Nope, second gateway as well. Of course, this is very abusable when you're delaying tech this much to go for a fast nexus. You can actually get punished by proxy robos pretty easily. So at the high ground base near, or the fake high ground base near his natural, you could definitely see a proxy robo at that location. Now it's only one gateway, so proxying the robo right away, you can get pushed back by the zealots. You actually have probes pull off gas, but we're not going to see that. Let's see what the response is from Dark here. Again, it's just a one gateway from Dark. So we're gonna have 3 zealots to deal with this one dragoon, 1 zealot. Then we're gonna have 5 zealots, and we're actually going into 3 gate dragoon. Now this is as all in as it gets. You basically have to kill with this 3 gate. Now the problem with 3 gate is you can't outrange cannons with dragoons. That's why you see proxy robo. Reavers, on the other hand, force the opposing player to do something that's uncomfortable for them, which is actually to break out and engage the Reaver. One dragoon getting a couple shots on that cannon. One of the zealots just going across the map. Yugox wants to scout, see what's going on, because the response to 3 dragoon is actually very simple. You just make cannons, and when you're going 3 dragoon, it's not like Zerg going 3 hatch Hydra where they get 3 bases and they have a lot of production and they can just switch into drones. When Protoss is going 3 dragoon, they are very committed. There's very little way to transition out of this. Now 5 dragoons, 2-shot cannons. Cannons don't auto heal like Zerg units, so that 200 health they actually have is gonna stay like that for a couple seconds before they actually heal 1 shield. So a couple volleys from 5 dragoons will 2-shot a single cannon. So as a defendant player, you have to be aware of that. You have to be careful. I like this rescout with the zealot. Now he only has 2 cannons, I think. Okay, he's adding a 3rd. He's gonna need more. One of the cannon is already pretty bruised up. And this has been great control with just the 1 dragoon. These aren't SCVs, these are probes. These are gonna get 4-shot. Oh, looks like we're going for it. There you go, goes for the low cannon. The other cannon goes down very quickly. You can see he had 5 dragoons, perfect number to 2-shot that second cannon. The dragoon in the main finally does go down, but I think this is just too late for Yugox cannon. It's going up now, but this is 3 gate production. Well, looks like it was managed to pick off 2 dragoons, but I don't think it matters. It's just too much. These DTs are nowhere near in time. Oh. Let's see, one of the cannon gets up. He's gonna need another one to finish quickly. That cannon's already pretty low. Yeah, just gets picked off right away. 2 dragoons do go down. We have a few more rally. I mean, he's gotta get the kill. Okay, a couple zealots arrive. We're just buying time. Archives is done. These cannons aren't positioned that well. They're not covering each other. Well, but Yugox has done a good job at somehow holding on. It's like another cannon will go down here. No, just manages to hold on. Okay, another Dragoon and cannon go down. Yugox just really needs to hold on. This is very scary though. 5 Dragoons now. These will 2-shot. 6 Dragoons even. The DDTs are in production. Does Dark actually have any detection back at home? Because the DTs are out here. Looks like he's going for Nexus. So yeah, this is just over. Wow, what a hold from Yugox. If these cannons get broken at any point, this game would have been over. But clutch control with the Zealots, clutch control with the probes. Just bought himself enough time for those DTs. And Dark, unfortunately, that'll be the end of his tournament run. I mean, his response was good, his control was good, but Yugox just was better with the probe. Yeah, and this is live. This is live, not from replay. So nice job by Yugox. He's gonna advance, gonna go up against Gosu Dark in the final match of the group. But that was a very nerve-wracking moment. I'm watching the VOD now to see how Yugox actually managed to hold on. Really just bought himself enough time, and there was that one moment where he couldn't get that one cannon. He had to actually commit back again. Really hurt him there. Couldn't ever actually get into the main. Now, the thing is, I actually think he saw the archives when he was attacking. Maybe he just didn't know it was an archives, or just was too busy elsewhere. Because if he had gone, like if he had tried to transition out of this, he would have been pretty dead either way. Oh, Yugox is moving on to the next match, and he's also moving on to the next stage of the tournament. The final match will determine who goes into the winners bracket in the round of 12 and who goes into the losers. And of course, losers bracket, you're out of the tournament with one more loss. You definitely want to have the advantage of the winners bracket. Well, we see TerrOr already advancing earlier. Just to see who goes with him to the winners bracket. Gosu Dark or Yugox. So we are ready. And the map is Gladiator. And we are ready finally for this final match, today's group. In the bottom left spawn, we have Gosu Dark. In the bottom right, we have Yugox. Map is Gladiator, and I actually think like Gladiator is probably my favorite 4-player map. I definitely like it more than Circuit Breaker and Fighting Spirit. I'm trying to think of current 4-player maps. Like Polyport is pretty solid, but Polyport is a very defensive map. You see a lot of macro games. Every base is either on the high ground or behind a ramp. Gladiator, on the other hand, is a map where aggression is a lot better. Commander only is low ground, very exposed. The 4 bases are pretty far away. So usually a map that leads to a lot more action. And I always remember that one match, Flash vs Snow in the SL, where Flash is doing a really good job at staying alive, finding himself good edges, but no, just maneuvering around the map with shuttles and reavers, and it's a very dynamic game. And I feel like this map leads to more dynamic games than Polypoid, Fighting Spirit, and especially in PvP. Fighting Spirit on PvP, you just camp behind bridges, you don't want to attack. Gladiator on the other hand, if you get a good concave outside the natural, very obnoxious. All of high ground ridges, pizza slices, as you could say. And we have Gosu Dark going for the early scout. Looks like he's going to go into double gate, and we are also seeing double gate from Yugox. So Gosu Dark does have the earlier scout, and there's a couple options on what to do here. My preferred go-to is just to go one zealot gas, then you get your second, third zealots after the gas, and your stubbornness core timing is naturally faster. Okay, so let's see if he goes for that or if he's just gonna go non-stop. So both players are scouting each other first. Gosu Dark slightly faster. Let's see. Is he actually gonna spend? Yeah, he just spent his money on getting more solids. Let's see what Yugox does. It looks like he's flowing minerals. Now, is he actually gonna go for a Nexus here? And the Nexus is gonna be his option. Now this, ooh, he actually gets it blocked by Gosu Dark. So Gosu Dark definitely aware of that possibility. And Yugo's gonna go counter Nexus block. The reason why Nexus is good is because you go one zealot, Nexus, then your second and third zealot start. But by the time your opponent gets to your base, they're already out. And in case you need any more defense, you just plop down a shield battery and you end up being fine. The reason why it can be risky though is because you don't actually know if they went additional zealots. So 4 and 5. They can put on a lot of pressure. They could also proxy gates, but Yugox had the scouting information. We got 3 vs 3. Looks like Gosu Dark got the first swipes off. Ooh, very low zealots from both players. Yugox shouldn't be afraid to engage here. Although we do see more Gosu Dark zealots being rallied across the map. The faster reinforcement. Oh, looks like we have a couple more swipes. Looks like one zealot from Gosu Dark, very low to health. We have the probe helping out. This is just a micro war here. Who can do it better? Looks like it's actually pretty close. We have slightly more HP on Gosu Dark zealots, and we actually have 2 more zealots being rallied across the map. This is where Yugox has to be careful. He doesn't even have a gas yet. But this Manor Pylon is actually so obnoxious. And the pylon from Gosu Dark is actually hurting him here. Oh, don't want to cede control of this high ground. And the problem is one of these zealots from Yugox is actually badly damaged. Otherwise, this position would actually be fantastic because this Manor Pylon in Gosu Dark's main is actually really hurting his economy. Where's zealots going? Desperately need a shield battery here from Yugox. Going forward, but shield battery would help him to control this natural area a lot better. Okay, looks like it's 4 vs 4, so the damage on this one zealot is not that impactful. 4 vs 5 though. Oh, one of the zealots taking several hits there. Still surprised to see no shield battery. Probes are helping out here, but whoa, that was really quick how those 2 zealots went down. We have the nice probe surround. We have the shield battery. Oh, that's actually a cannon. And we actually have a Dragoon already out. So Gosu Dark is very all in. He's not even looking to defend or kill that Manor Pylon. Just gonna go for the kill here. Cannon goes down. Pylon is actually very low. We got 3 zealots, but we don't have any ranged units. Units aren't that healthy. They don't have range. I mean, Yugox just needs to get cannons up. He also needs to get a gas started. He doesn't have anything. Dragoons do really good job against just zealots and probes. I don't think these cannons will finish in time. We get a nice round. 1 Dragoon almost goes down. But now it's 4 Dragoons. One of the cannons will finish. Looks like the probes heroically kill off one of those Dragoons. Another Dragoon goes down, and now Yugox holds. Yeah, so now the game is gonna calm down a little bit. This is a robo. We don't have goon range, right? So no goon range. I don't think it's done. Robo on the right. Ooh, yeah, it's definitely not done. And this Mana Pylon did so much damage. He did kill a lot of probes, but the problem is that was very committed. You don't kill that Mana Pylon, and now you see how it backfires for Gosudark. He's going into a robotics facility. This could be for Elevator. This could also be for Reaver. Looks like he wanted to kill this one cannon, but a lot of missed shots from the low ground from a couple of the Dragoons. Like, this cannon took 9 shots, and it only lost the shields. So I actually think the position here for Yugox is actually fantastic. Gosudark, I mean, he took a huge risk, Yugox for sure, going for the Nexus and then not going for shield battery. We're going up to 7, 8 Dragoons, only 4 cannons. Yugox, okay, he's finally gonna take this one cannon that was exposed. Even the pylon is exposed here. It looks like he finally does have a couple Dragoons to help, but he's not gonna have range. And behind us we have a robo, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Reaver. There's no other way. Very good. Yeah, it is Reaver. Now what can you do against this as Yugox? You just cut probes and you go 5-gate goon. There's no other way to defend this. Additional cannons will help now, but they won't help once the Reaver is off. It'll give you a couple seconds of time, but you really need to go mass Gateway Dragoons. You can also go Reaver yourself, but the problem is you won't have a shuttle. You're gonna have to rely on just getting lucky with the Scarabs and shield battery to regenerate some shield. But I mean, Gosu Dark is playing this well. This is what Dark could have done in the last game. We actually have an observer, which is smart. Sometimes pros go DT off of this, and it can catch you off guard going for a Reaver bust. But you can see Gosudark just making non-stop Dragoons. He's gonna get this Reaver out now. Not proxied, and there's the 5-gate Dragoon. We have range on the way. The problem is there's no way for the Nexusing Protoss to get a good engagement. Like, we're looking at Dragoon count. It's something like 11, 12 versus just 7. We have 5 gateways, but we're gonna have a Reaver to support here. Looks like he wants to go out before this Reaver or potential Reaver gets. Well, if he can get the shuttle, he gets a shuttle, but he lost so many units doing that. Now the potential for the bust is still alive. He's gonna have more. That's 4 shots to kill that Reaver, but if you see the Reaver, just the Scarab is massive damage. He doesn't have any vision either, so he's gonna go out, but this allows Gosudark to get. He managed to get it, but now just so many Dragoons. This potentially could still be held. Gosudark not targeting. You really want to target down the cannons. And again, the shuttle was killed, so that means there's not going to be a quick Reaver follow-up here. Yugox mixing insults, which isn't what it's not what you want to see, but he can't afford more Dragoons. He needs a second gas. Somehow Yugox held, so his position, like that looked really dire when he lost the majority of his Dragoons. Only had cannons or something like 9 Dragoons. But Gosudark not targeting really let Yugox get some breathing room. He's right back in this game, and I actually think he has an advantage in workers. He doesn't have Reaver tech, but he has superior production. Gosudark should have a defensive Reaver in position. He actually has a lot of Dragoons. Okay, there's finally the Reaver. I'm actually surprised. Where did these Dragoons come from? He had 5. I guess he had 2 extra rounds and maybe he didn't rally. Robo for Yugox finally. I'm not really sure if he wants to expand in this position. Usually the third bases in PvP can be taken really late, but he's just going to take it off 5 gates and no tech. This is opening himself up for a potential Dragoon Reaver attack with just a lot of gateways from Gosudark. Seems risky to do this. And this is a lot of Zealots, which is not ideal against Reavers. The composition we saw from Dark, which really hurt him, was him going Dragoon Zealot against Dragoon Zealot Reaver. And again, sure he has 5 gateways, but Gosudark can match that by just adding a couple now. Here we go. 2 Reavers, a lot of Dragoon Zealots versus just Dragoon Zealots. We have more production from Yugox, but the Scarabs can do catastrophic damage here. We even have an Observer to spot. It's all gonna come down to Gosu Dark's control. Looks like if he can get a couple juicy, that's a massive Scarab. Gets on top of those Dragoons. Looks like the army advantage isn't even that large. But this is good for Yugox. Where are the Reavers and not firing? It's gonna go for the natural. He's gonna have high ground control against these flanking units. Can get behind on top of the Reavers, but no, good deflection with the Dragoons. And gonna wrap around, trying to get a better angle. So it's getting stuck behind the Dragoons here. Looks like Zealot's filtering through finally. The Reavers are still alive. No targeting of the shuttle or the Reavers at all. It's like finally the Reavers will go down, but I mean, a lot of probes have been killed. Not the best control by Gosudark. He is going to get cleaned up finally. And, I mean, this is looking similar to how it looked when Yugox held the earlier attack. He took a lot of damage, a lot of losses, but he's still up 1 Nexus. Gosu Dark looks like have a large army, but I mean you can see he's very limited. He only has the 1 gas. He doesn't have any subsequent tech, just Reavers. So losing the shuttle at the end of the fight, like if you're losing the fight, you can at least hightail it out of there with the shuttle. Now I actually think it's how does Gosu Dark actually win in this position? Again, I think the one thing he did to equalize at least was he killed a lot of probes. There's another Reaver, 6 gate, finally getting a 2nd gas, so there's at least a potential for another attack before Yugox gets just overwhelming number of gateways or a lot of tech. He has 3 gases, he can go into high temporals pretty easily. He's making a lot of cannons, which is the thing about cannons in PvP. Sure, they defend the base, the 3rd base, but what if you just get attacked at the net? Those cannons really aren't going to help out. And I'm looking, looks like the observers chasing each other. Gosudark's gonna see this 3rd base, and I think this is gonna put him on a timer. This minute only, for example, is a lot worse of a base. Gosu Dark probably gonna wait for 2 rears, but I think if he does that, it'll just be giving Yugox just too much time to recover. Whoa, I don't know about this. Yugox being the aggressor when he's up a base. We should be careful. There's a second rear, so we should see the shuttle. There it is. I don't know if Gosudark actually has a Citadel even to go for speed zealots, because slow zealots are actually pretty pitiful. They get beat by basically Dragoons, fast zealots, anything. It's like Yugox wants to take control of this high ground, but it's so close to Gosudark's rally. Gosudark paying attention though. Okay, so those are a couple of juicy scarabs. We have High Templars finally. We're at 60 energy. The fight's gonna happen pretty soon. I don't think they will have Storm. Yugox just has to get everything together and control his high ground. Okay, 70 energy. We're getting there. 2 storms. One way to counteract Reaver is with just Superior Splash, which is storms. Really gotta land them, but these are slow solids. There's a lot of units. Reavers are at the front. They are exposed. Where are the storms? It's like he does have. That's a massive storm getting the Reaver, hitting a lot of Dragoons. Another massive storm hitting the Reavers somewhat, and a lot of Dragoons getting killed. And we have a very good concave from Yugox, but the Reavers are actually still alive. These are still slow zealots. The Reaver's still alive. They're not. Okay, if one Reaver finally goes down, do we have any more storms left over? Looks like we do. Flipping the Reaver, getting a lot of damage on Dragoons. Looks like Yugox just barely gonna hold here. Gosudark does have a third. Well, it looks like no. Gosudark still has the advantage here. 7 Dragoons to 1. One more storm left over. Yugox does have +1. Some zealots streaming out finally. He does have solid speed. Gosudark doesn't have any solid speed on his side end. Finally able to push this back. One zealot in the gas. Finally a DT. And this DT will give him some premium. Yugox, how many gateways does he have left? He's still on 6. He could definitely afford more. Looks like he's on 7. Yeah, and this mineral only third that goes to Dark Take, and it only has, I think, 6 patches, all reduced. Meanwhile, Yugox has a much healthier third base. Like you see, these patches actually have more minerals than the base Gosu Dark just took. That's high ground. A lot of Dragoons with micro, you can actually beat what Yugox has, but got pushed back there. High Templar almost has enough for a storm. Gosu putting on the pressure, but without Reavers, it's hard to push through. And again, just no Citadel. Yugox even taking a 4th base now. And going up in gateway, so now he's outproducing Gosudark. And Gosudark running out of fumes here. He's trying to get something done, but again, the Reavers are what you need. You need the splash one way or the other. Looks like that DT is heading straight to the 3rd base, probably to get some harassment done. Just too much production from Yugox and that DT at the 3rd base, and there's the GG. So well played by Yugox. I mean, he really was sweating there against that Nexus bus, but that's 2 games in a row where Yugox just barely managing to hold on to his Nexus twice, ends up in a good position, and both against Dark and now against Gosu Dark, he wins the game. Well, and that means Yugox is 1 game away from getting 2nd place out of this group. I feel like Dark and Gosu Dark are more established names, but Yugox definitely showing that he can take games from them, and he's shown pretty strong unorthodox PvP play. We'll see what Gosu Dark pulls off now. And both players, if you remember, started off 2-gate that game, but Yugox decided to go for Nexus right away. Had a mana pylon in Gosu Dark's base, just barely held on. Had a couple points, and well, job well done. So this next match could potentially be the last match for today. But we're gonna have StarCraft all the days for the next month, basically. And that's it. The TerrOr already advanced. Gosudark and Yugox advanced. We're seeing where they end up. And then tomorrow, it's gonna be DNMax, Baboon, Tech, and Cruzago. So another 1 Terran, 3 Protoss group. Only 3 Zergs in South America, all of them in the last group with Ultra. And then we are ready, and the map is going to be Monopoly. Alright, in the bottom left spawn, in the color red, we have Yugox. And in the top left, we have Gosudark. Now remember, Gosudark against Oya. On this map, he actually went, Gosudark did, for a 2-gate. He was able to kill Oya outright. Here we have Monopoly 3-player map. Definitely could see the double gate. This is a map where the rush distances aren't that long. It's actually pretty easy to hold though, because if you get a shield battery and 1 zealot behind your ramp, 1 zealot can block the choke, and you can just heal and then have a dragoon shooting from behind. And it's hard to get anything done with 10-12 gate on this map in particular. Yugox has been showing some unorthodox builds with quick nexuses though. And the quick nexus is actually surprisingly good against double gate. But we'll see. There's the 1 gateway from Yugox. Are we going to see a second? Are we going to see gas? Looks like Yugox actually going for a 12 gas. It's a little bit different from the 11 gas, but not that much. And there's the double gateway again from Gosu Dark. So really liking this opener. Again, it has worked for him in the past before against strong caliber players, so not surprising to see what he's most comfortable in. This gateway from Yugox, I actually think it's too close to the ramp. If your gateway can get ranged by the low ground, it's probably too close to the ramp. Unfortunately for Yugox, he's going to get second scout, but if he's going core zealot, he should be fine. And he is. See the probe cut here. Pylon on 16. Gosu Dark gets in. Gonna get the full information here. So it just pops out before the core finishes. So very standard here from Yugox and Gosu Dark. It's gonna have to do something. And like I said, this probe, it should see what's going on. And we actually have a second gateway right away. Now getting this gateway before range means this range is gonna be quite late. And he sees the 3 zealots. So this is basically perfect. The thing is, if you get the second zealot, you can't get range and the shield battery without cutting a significant number of probes. So we'll see what his plan is actually going to be. You don't want to chase this probe too much. You don't want to let zealots get up your ramp. Nice Matter Pylon. He sees Gosudark is actually going for Dragoon follow-up, so he shouldn't expect. But here's the problem: zealots are at the ramp. If he has a Dragoon popping out, okay, there it is, just in time. And then pulling probes. Don't want to lose these probes. Don't want to lose any probes. So far, good control. Losing $1 for $1 is fine. Gotta pull the probes away. Don't want to lose the last 2 probes right away. So again, it's not ideal. The problem with going for the second gateway, sure, you match the unit count, but you're not taking advantage of your tech. You're not getting the cybernetics core. If you're not going shield battery, like I think these are 2 more Dragoons. Dragoons take longer to build than zealots. If you're not going shield battery, it makes it a lot harder to hold. Okay, so we kill all the zealots. We don't lose any Dragoons, but we did lose a significant number of probes, and don't have Dragoon range critically. Now we have 3 Dragoons, which should deal with these 2 zealots. So that's why we have Gosudark actually retreating. We have a Citadel, and this is one way to do it. And this Matter Pylon, I mean Gosudark, he gets Matter Pylon, he's like, okay, I don't care, I'm just gonna attack anyway. You're just gonna be supply blocks. He wants to get another pylon here. He also doesn't want to move out. If you go Citadel, you gotta play defensively. Now, Gosudark should at least be suspecting something because he didn't see the goon range upgrade ever. So not even a fake with the like you get +1 air because it costs less and then cancel it. Not even that from Yugox. So just a little bit suspicious. And there's the archives, but I think Gosudark should be making a robo right about now if he didn't just plant it. Looks like he's about in position. Ooh, every second is crucial here. We could have gotten that a few seconds earlier. The archives is about halfway done. It does take DTs a while to get across the map. And I like this Dragoon scout. Dragoons can get away. Five Dragoons, 1 zealot. Gosudark still has the 2 zealots alive from earlier. DTs are on the way. Now this is why you need 2 gateways. You keep 1 DT back to defend and 1 DT goes on to harass. This is 6 Dragoons. They do have range. Don't know why Yugox is moving forward. He should really just retreat to his ramp. Oh man. No pro pull either. Good. Units get stuck though. Okay, there are the DTs. But he took a lot of unit losses there too. And the robo should be about done now. And there's the observatory though. It's gonna have detection. I don't know about staying in range of the DTs. Sure, you can buy time, but he's gonna be fine here. And I actually think Gosudark is in a great position because we don't have goon range from Yugox, so that means Yugox is gonna have to rely on cannons to defend, and he's gonna have observers. Like the observer is out before DT gets to his base, so he's in a fantastic position in that sense. And Gosudark just has way more Dragoons. The earlier fight that Yugox took losses on is actually catastrophic That means he's gonna meet every Dragoon loss is basically a cannon. Ooh, one DT. DTs, of course, do outrun observers. Second DT wrapping around, but we should see a second observer out for Gosudark. There it is, but there's no units. You can actually get in. Those are really just committed to the attack here. This is not enough units. Also doesn't have range. Yeah, so this should be an easy victory for Gosudark. Really, this all comes down to the earlier fight. Losing 1 Zala and 2 Dragoons for no reason when you have DTs about to pop. And there's a GHG from Yugox, so that means we're tied 1-1 heading into game number 3. Again, the response from Yugox going second gateway, letting the Zalts into his main, it really hurt him. He could have held a lot more easily with the shield battery. But the DT follow-up is actually good. He just can't take any unit losses before the DTs are out. Oh, had 1-1. Now we're definitely going into the final match from today. From what I've seen, Yugox really likes to go for earlier Nexus and play defensively. It seems to be his comfort zone, and he's going up against a player who really just goes for the kill. Like we are ready. Game number 3, it's going to be on Neil Sylphid. Alright, in the top 12 o'clock spawn, we have in the color blue Gosu Dark. And in the bottom left, we have Yugox in the color red. Okay, so we saw 11 Nexus from Yugox earlier. We've seen him go for double gate. We've seen him go 1 gate gas. We're just opening up with all the openers. Gosu Dark really favors the 10-12 gate though. Right. I haven't seen a single double proxy gate in the middle of the map, and one reason I think we're not going to see that is because of how frequent we see 10-12 gate, and 10-12 gate pretty much hard corners proxy double gate. You can get caught off guard, and if you take a bad fight early on, you can get just overrun, but you have basically the same tools to defend as the attacker does, and you can even slap down a couple of shield batteries as well. Another thing we see from Gosudark, he always goes for the gateway scout, or more often than not. We have 10-12 from both players, so this is how the gladiator game worked out. And Yugo going for the second gateway, so the 12 scout after second gateway. This means his economy is going to be, it's not insignificant, but it's not that much better either. Here we go, he's going to get to the base, and getting the first scout is actually crucial because if he wants to go for a faster gas, this allows him to do so. Well, he sees they're doing mirror builds. Let's see what his response is going to be. Gosu Dark on the flip side can also do something. Ooh, gets a Manor Pylon. That's very annoying. Dropping one probe, blocking off one patch. I don't think he let Gosu Dark's Zala in. Probe in with the Zala blocking there. Gosu Dark just moving out with his first Zala, and looks like we have a Gaster from Yugox and a Gaster from Gosu Dark. Second and third Zala being held back to deal with this Pylon. So already, I mean, well worth it to get this Pylon here. Even if you do lose it. Probe even escapes. He sees the Cybernetics core timing, and he actually trapped one of his probes. This is not ideal. Well, but we have some counter harass here from Gosu Dark. Already gets one probe. Only losing the shield on his Zalat. Even get another probe. Looks like the reaction this time is better. Oh man, that trap probe would tilt me so much. Because it's a self-inflicted wound. Your opponent did nothing to cause that. I feel like he can get it out. If he mines the mineral and he spams stop, maybe he can get it out of there. Looks like we have another building going on. This is also providing crucial scouting information for Gosu Dark. He knows his opponent's core timing, if there's any kind of tech, if he's getting range or not getting range. He's getting a lot of information here. Okay, so not getting range this long is a little bit suspicious. We're gonna see Citadel. Yugox is floating a lot of minerals and gas. Maybe he's just gonna expand here. Nope, looks like he just made 2 Dragoons. And he got range. And he's gonna go into 3-gate Gosu Dark behind us. Just 2-gate, maybe 2-gate Robo. Now taking a big risk by going 3-gate. He, unlike Gosu Dark, didn't have that much scouting information. The last time he saw his base was when that Manor Pylon was still alive. Gosu Dark actually made a lot more Zealots, and he made this because I guess he was low on gas. There's a Robo. Zealots are okay in low. When your opponent has a low number of Dragoons, they're okay, but they're bad when there's an intermediate number of Dragoons. So if it's something like 10, 12 Dragoons, you don't really have any value with the Zealots. But in low numbers, they can get damage done. Count is definitely in Yugox's favor. They're both on 3 gateways though. Yugox just finished faster, and I mean you can't really go 3 gateway Reaver. But if you cut a couple Dragoons, you can afford to get that. I wonder if that's what Gosu Dark's doing. It's a lot of units from him though. We actually see the worker count might be massively in Yugox's favor because the army size is basically equal. It's like we're going in, a couple Zealots getting stuck there. And again, it looks like the Zealots are gonna get killed here. It's gonna come down to who has the Spirit Goon count. Looks like it's still about equal. Neither player really targeted. Looks like Yugox finally targeted there. Better control though, pulling back the damage goons from Gosu Dark. A very decisive victory from Gosu Dark there. So he has 5 remaining to just 1. I guess there were a couple rallied there for Yugox. And yeah, Gosu Dark just gonna go for a Reaver, and Yugox is gonna have no way to deal with this. They're both on equal production. Yugox just lost a fight pretty convincingly, so he's always gonna have a Dragoon deficit. And now we're gonna have Reavers added to this composition. It's gonna be 7 against. It's gonna be equal Dragoon count, I think, when he gets to the base. Finally, gonna rescue this probe. you like to see that. This probe is finally gonna mine some minerals. And there's the first Reaver. I really feel like the one Reaver timing should be the trigger. No reason to wait for additional Reavers. Just playing defensively. Maybe he is gonna wait for that second Reaver after all, but this gives Yugox a lot of time, and time is his only ally here. It looks like a scouting probe gets picked off. Doesn't confirm if there's a Nexus or not. We have a Forge, because of course Yugox is in the dark completely, and a Forge is also not gonna help him much against the Reavers. Looks like he's gonna put on pressure. Well, maybe that was. So that's 8 Dragoons. Couple odds against Zal. It's not gonna help out against Reavers. Here comes the timing. It's 10 against 8. So we have a 2 Dragoon advantage, but we have a 2 Reaver advantage. So pretty big advantage for Gosu Dark here. Of course, it comes down to the control. If you lose the shuttle right away, you can let your opponent right back into the game. But Gosu Dark has shown good control. Looks like these 2 Dragoons engaging early. He wants to get a flank. A flank is one way to fight this. If he can get behind the Reavers, I mean, these Dragoons at the back have a nice spread. Looks like he's cutting off reinforcements. But the cannons get taken down right away. Reinforcements, dealing with them first will make it easier to flank this Reaver. Gosu Dark just moving forward. He's gotta pull the probes. You want these probes to fight the Dragoons. Looks like he's coming in now. Reavers are still alive. Probes finally being pulled. These are massive scarabs, though. You can see the Dragoons can't get within range of those Reavers, and Dragoons doing a really good job at protecting the Reavers. Looks like all the Dragoons have finally gone down. There's the GG from Yugox, and Gosu Dark advances out of this group with 2 pretty quick timing. Just really out-controlled Yugox in those early games. But Yugox, pretty strong showing, I would say, overall. He's going to advance out of this group, which was pretty stacked, and almost took out Gosu Dark. So, job well done by him. That means Gosu Dark and TerrOr advance to the winners bracket, and Yugox advances to the losers bracket. And Dark, unfortunately, his tournament run is over. Better luck in BSL 16. Oh yeah, and that means because of the new format, all the players that are eliminated from Pro League by not getting out of this group automatically go into Gosu League. That means all the Chinese players who were eliminated and now Dark are automatically seeded into Gosu League. But for Yugox, Gosu Dark, and TerrOr, they are advancing into the next round, the round of 12. You can see how it worked. Gosu Dark almost actually beat TerrOr, and then Yugox almost actually beat Gosu Dark. So these are actually pretty close matches overall. Is Mihu gonna destroy Gosu League? I mean, what do you think? I think he's way overqualified, but it just shows the Chinese players have a very strong scene. Oh yeah, sure. All right, and as you can see, if you want to support BSL, one of the ways to do that is to by joining the Patreon. We have several tiers here. The $10 and above tier will get access to all the replays. In the $100 tier, we have Star, Lover, $50 tier, Anthony Chen, Martin, Harsmar, Striker, and Zero Sum. $30 tier, Robert Groot, Flizardo, Cuz, Tupacalypse. $20 tier, Nicholas Schuler, LML, Christian Eddington, Ling Pump, Quark, Niantic, and several more in the 10, 7, and $5 tiers. And really, any amount helps. As you can see, for as low as $2, you can support BSL on Patreon, and of course, watching and sharing the stream. And OptiMonk, of course, is the main sponsor this BSL. And just go check out OptiMonk, see what it's about. And yeah, BSL 15. We're 15 seasons in, and as you can see, we have $10,000 goal for BSL 16. There are going to be a lot more casts this season around, so definitely a reachable goal. We're about what is this, 5% of the way there. So definitely would like to see that grow over the oncoming cast. We're going to have all the LATAM qualifiers this week from Monday to Sunday, finishing off with the winner and the final four advancing into the next stage of the tournament. But for Monday through Thursday, we're going to have the groups, and from there we'll follow on, and hopefully you all can join us. Tomorrow it's going to be at 2 a.m. CEST. That's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. So tune in for that. And GG's today. Tomorrow's group is also going to be stacked, so hopefully we have some good quality games. And well, as always, it was fun to cast. Of course, Zero is behind the scene organizing everything. Very long cast overall. We had the Chinese finals before this group stage, so everyone, applause for Zero. And hopefully we can all see you tomorrow again.